Hello, Hidden Hermit here, and here is a Two of Swords. So this is a Two of Swords from the Dreaming Way Tarot, one of my favourite decks, has to be said. Excuse me, and at first glance it looks very similar to the Waite-Smith. And when you think about the Two of Swords, you're thinking about that idea of balance, that idea of making a choice. And that choice could usually be of a prickly nature. Now, the Dreaming Way doesn't really diverge from that in a great deal, but there are some interesting differences, I think, with this particular card. So, what's similar? Similar, you've got a female figure. She's got her two swords, these curved scimitars, if you like. Slightly different, however. It's not entirely balanced as we're used to. Indeed, in the Waite-Smith. And the Dreaming Way is a very Waite-Smith based deck, but with some subtle, interesting differences. Now, the one thing that I find very interesting about this is the landscape. Gone is the still waters and the calm moon in the sky there, and it's been replaced with this sort of snowy vista. Now, of course, snow is water, but it is of a much colder nature. If anybody has ever seen or felt snow, then you know that it's pretty cold. And that kind of it tells me that this Two of Swords is vibing on that cold, detached way in which we make decisions. The blindfold is still there, so this idea that perhaps the choice you have to make, there are no great pros or cons. It's a difficult choice because of that. Yeah, and I also really like the colour scheme of her clothes. So she's wearing white boots and this sort of white dress thing, I don't know, and this green shawl. So I like to think that the white is the moon influence, and the green is the Libra influence. Libra is, of course, ruled by Venus. So that's what I kind of like about it. Now, in the book that comes with the Dreaming Way, it does take I don't want to say negative, but it does look at the more despondent associations we have with the Two of Swords. So it tells us about making a difficult choice at a crossroads to make a decision. Interestingly, these swords aren't quite crossed. The meaning of that is not lost on me. Perhaps she has just about made her decision, maybe. It also tells us it's about avoiding responsibility and ignoring warning signs, which, it goes on that darker, colder sense of the Two of Swords. It also tells us that the reverse Two of Swords could signify a reconciliation. Jumping to conclusions, which I think is a slight new one as well. The Two of Swords usually tells us about keeping things in balance because of that Libra influence. Reversed, making a rash decision, going for it without weighing up the facts, if you like. It also tells us that you could be confronting unpleasant facts, which is a very swordy nature, I think. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this card in particular today is because I like it. I like this deck. It's a nice dreamy. It has a way of being dreamy, as is what is called the Dreaming Way Tarot, and that's why. It's just a lovely image. Now, I think the Two of Swords is one of the most simple but powerful images in the whole of the tarot deck, and this particular one doesn't really disappoint. So I'm going to let you feast your peepers on the Two of Swords from the Dreaming Way Tarot. Lovely. Thank you very much for watching.